The observation deck of the Harmony's gate stretched across the ship's bow like a crystalline eye gazing into the infinite dark. Mira stood alone at the viewport, her reflection ghostly against the star-scattered void beyond. Her shoulders hunched forward, and the corners of her mouth pulled down in a frown that seemed to carry the weight of entire worlds. She had failed again. The diplomatic summit with the Crithian collective had collapsed spectacularly. 3 months of preparation, 17 light-years of travel, and countless sleepless nights studying their cultural protocols, all reduced to ashes because she had misunderstood a single gesture, one hand placed wrong during the greeting ritual, and the Crithians had walked out, their insectoid faces clicking with what the translator rendered as profound disappointment. Behind her, the door whispered open with a pneumatic hiss. Mira didn't turn. She knew those light, padding footsteps. "Mira, friend is sad," came the high-pitched, chirping voice. Riki bounded into view, his small, furry form barely reaching Mira's waist. He was a Nuvari cub, one of the few members of his species allowed to serve on interspecies vessels. His people resembled Earth's otters, crossed with lemurs covered in silky bronze fur, with large amber eyes that seemed to capture and reflect every light source. His species had evolved on a water moon in the Andromeda sector, and their natural buoyancy and joy had made them surprisingly effective emotional support companions for longer voyages. "I'm fine, Riki." The cub's whiskers twitched. His tail, thick and expressive, drooped until it nearly touched the deck plating. No fine. Mira, friend, has the frown face. The deep space frown face. Despite herself, Mira's lips twitched almost imperceptibly upward. Riki had names for everything. "It's just been a difficult day." "Difficult day needs silly dance," Riki declared, with the absolute certainty that only a 3-foot-tall alien could muster. Before Mira could protest, the cub began to move. It wasn't dancing in any conventional sense. Riki hopped on one foot, then the other, his arms windmilling in opposite directions. He spun in a tight circle, chirping what might have been song, or might have been gibberish, possibly both. His tail whipped around his body like a fuzzy propeller, and he added little jumps that made his whole body bounce comically. "Riki, I really don't." The cub wasn't listening. He had progressed to what could only be described as interpretive flailing, throwing his arms up dramatically before touching his toes, then rolling backward in a somersault that ended with him standing on his head, legs kicking at the air. A small sound escaped Mira's throat. Not quite a laugh. Not yet. Encouraged, Riki doubled his efforts. He began making faces, puffing out his cheeks, crossing his eyes, sticking out his tiny pink tongue. He waddled like a penguin, then hopped like a rabbit, then did something that might have been an impression of the ship's Valorian captain, complete with exaggerated salutes and deep, serious chirps. The corner of Mira's mouth lifted. Riki sensed victory. He launched into his grand finale, a series of spins combined with what humans would call the worm, though performed with significantly more fur and considerably less dignity. He ended in a dramatic pose, one arm extended toward the stars, the other on his hip, head thrown back, as if he'd just performed the greatest dance in galactic history. Mira couldn't help it. The laugh burst from her like air from a punctured hull, sharp, sudden, and utterly uncontainable. It echoed off the observation deck's high ceiling, and once started, it wouldn't stop. She doubled over, hands on her knees, shoulders shaking. Riki's eyes widened with delight. His tail began wagging so hard his entire body wiggled. Grin face coming. "You ridiculous little furball," Mira gasped between laughs. "What was that? Silly dance." Riki bounded over to her, looking enormously pleased with himself. "Works every time. Nuvari ancient technique, passed down through many, many generations. Is it really?" "No." Riki's whiskers quivered with mischief. Riki made up just now. But worked. That sent Mira into fresh peals of laughter. She sank down to the floor, sitting cross-legged, and Riki climbed into her lap without hesitation. His fur was impossibly soft, and he radiated warmth like a tiny sun. The Crithians walked out today, Mira said quietly, her grin fading but not disappearing entirely. I ruined everything. Riki tilted his head, his large eyes reflecting her face. Mira friend is human, yes? Yes. Humans are the ones who never give up peoples. Riki learned this. Humans fall down 7 times, stand up 8 times. Humans look at impossible things and say, watch me do anyway. He patted her hand with his tiny paw. One bad meeting not define Mira friend. Humans too stubborn for that. Mira felt something warm bloom in her chest. Where did you learn that about humans? From watching Mira friend, Riki said simply. You travel so far from homeworld. You learn 37 languages. You try so hard to understand everyone. Even when they hard to understand. That is very brave. That is very human. She pulled the small cub closer. Resting her chin on top of his head, through the viewport, the stars wheeled slowly past, indifferent to diplomatic failures and silly dances, and the small moments that made the vast emptiness of space bearable. Thank you, Riki. Welcome, Mira friend. He snuggled deeper into her arms. Tomorrow, you try again with Crithians. Our friend. Tomorrow, I try again. Good. And if they still mean, Riki will do silly dance at them too. They cannot resist Nuvari's silly dance. Is scientifically proven. Is it really? No. Mira grinned, a real grin this time, full and genuine. Yes. It sounds very good. Outside, the universe continued its ancient dance among the stars. Inside, a human and a cub sat together in comfortable silence. Proof that sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in never falling down, but in having someone willing to do a silly dance until you remembered how to stand back up. And if that wasn't the most human thing in the galaxy, Riki thought smugly, then he didn't know what was.